A live event in Enugu State, Southeast Nigeria, where the President General of the OHANEZE, NDIGBO, that's the pan-sociocultural group, Professor George Obiozor, is speaking to the press. Let's listen in.
It is imperative and proper for NDIGBO to remember NDIGBO and others who died across the country, either in the genocide or civil war from 1967 to 1970. OHANEZE NDIGBO worldwide urges the governors of the Southeast to roll out the Bubago security outfit urgently. OHANEZE NDIGBO wants to make it categorically clear that NDIGBO will not support breakup of Nigeria, but NDIGBO will not be victims of Nigerian unity. In this context, NDIGBO worldwide consider as unfortunate the implications of the President's statement in the Twitter account. The last time I checked or had a president speak of shock and awe, it was reserved for the enemy, not to citizens. I also want to appeal to all Igbo youths involved in violence and strongly advise them that there's nothing to celebrate in violence. We cannot change our lots and situations by stirring and provoking hatred among ourselves, raining insults and abuses on ourselves, and declaring war against those who disagree with our own ideas and approach to resolving our common problem. What good does it do to us in the destruction of government institutions and facilities, most of which were built by our own people and donated to the government for our own benefit and the general good of society? I appeal to Igbo youths everywhere to kindly avoid the violence in spite of all provocations. We know how aggrieved we all are, but peace options are the best. OHANEZE once more urges the federal government to reconsider the use of force in resolving the present national crisis. OHANEZE worldwide considers it imperative on the part of the federal government to conduct urgent, in-depth investigation on the destruction of lives and property in the Southeast. May I repeat that history shows that military and violent means to solve national problems leads to national fractionalization, anarchy, and eventual or inevitable disintegration. The federal government should realize and be confident enough that no secessionist forces can defeat Nigeria. The action of any of the secessionist or separatist groups will continue to look like a river threatening an ocean with drowning. We must also recognize the historical fact that in a society where injustice becomes a rule or law, resistance becomes a duty or an obligation. Nigeria has a history of continuity and crisis, as well as creative use of crisis as a means of resolving national political problems whenever we are near the brinks of catastrophe. In the recent times, we had in NDIGBO, Niger Delta militants, and Boko Haram insurgency, etc. The present situation in the country will soon be history also. These too shall pass. OHANEZE NDIGBO calls for a dialogue to resolve the present national crisis. The federal government should acknowledge that because of the reality of Nigerian irrepressible pluralism, it is always preferable to go for dialogue instead of use of force. Majority of Nigerians prefer unity to secession or separatism, but they want justice, peace, equity, and fairness. The golden rule of do unto others what we like done unto you. That is complementarity and inclusive governance. In fact, a brief glance at the Nigerian society, there is no shortage of villains among our political elites. But like many societies, a deeper look into Nigeria, you will see that the country's political heroes still exist. Though the villains may noisily dominate the political scene and space. Consequently, to secure Nigeria, to develop Nigeria, and to have peace in Nigeria, the federal government should immediately engage all Nigerian groups through their various leaderships in an urgent dialogue. Dialogue is what patriotic Nigerians, Nigerian well-wishers and admirers, and the international community is now expecting of Nigerian leadership to resolve the present national crisis and not military action. It is time for peaceful action and dialogue, not war and destruction. Finally, OHANEZE NDIGBO calls on the federal government to take note of the ongoing human rights violations in the Southeast. We must beware of its international consequences and domestic implications in our ability to heal the Nigerian nation. Nigeria is at crossroads of its history and destiny. Let wisdom prevail. Thank you very much. So, share, if you have copies, give to them before we begin question and answer.
Okay, we've just been listening to the live press conference of Professor George Obiozor, President General, OHANEZE NDIGBO, clarifying some issues at this very difficult time. He says NDIGBO will not support the breakup of Nigeria, but will not be victims of Nigerian unity either. And he appeals to the Igbo youth to avoid violence in spite of all provocations and continues to promote peace as the best and dialogue as the best option.
Indeed, he was also reacting to President Muhammadu Buhari's recent controversial comment. He says to secure, protect, and save Nigeria, the government must engage in national dialogue. It is time for peaceful dialogue and not war, he says. Let's bring in Rise News analyst Emmanuel Feni, who was actually reviewing the newspapers before we went to our live conference in Enugu, Southeast Nigeria. What did you make of Professor Obiozor's comments?
Well, his comments are quite spot on, timely call, not only for the federal government to engage all groups that are aggrieved in one way or the other in peaceful dialogue. And this call has been a familiar chorus for some time now. And I think it's something the federal government should seize the moment engage all groups. But he also appealed to Igbo youths to shun violence while drawing the attention of the world to what is happening in the Southeast, because there have been reports of soldiers shooting youths who are not even engaged in any kind of violence in the Southeast. There is overwhelming military presence right now in the Southeast. Are they following the rules of engagement, drawing the attention of the world to what looks like human rights abuses by soldiers drafted to the Southeast? I think it's a timely call, and the federal government must also ensure that when you send these soldiers to places like that, they follow rules of engagement and don't abuse the rights of the people. Because any day, even when the president is out of office, he can be called to answer questions for what will be called the human rights abuses at any point in time. So it's a timely call from OHANEZE NDIGBO.